Hi there, welcome to our channel. I'm Vic.
I'm Nick.
And we are MV Board Gaming. And today we're looking at Khora, Rise of an Empire, published by Yellow. This game is for 2 to 4 players. Nick is going to go through how you play, and then we're going to give our reviews.
In Khora, you're the head of a city-state in ancient Greece. You have many things you may focus on: philosophy, legislation, culture, trade, military, politics, or development. While your focus on actions are there, you're always looking to strengthen those actions by improving your economy, culture, and military tracks. The game is played in 9 rounds, and you're trying to earn the most points. Let's go down and talk about some of your actions. To start the game, you're going to deal 5 politics cards to each player. From then, you are going to draft one of these cards and place it face down in front of you. You will pass the rest to your left. You're going to keep doing this until everyone has 5 of their cards face down, and that will start their hand of cards. You're also going to start, everyone is going to start with 4 drachma. Now let's go over the phases of the game. The first phase is the event announcement. Well, you're always going to have the first event be growing populations. So the way you set up this deck is you have growing populations as the first event. The last event is always the conquest of the Persians. The 7 in between are random from a deck of cards. So in this situation only, with the green cards at the beginning and end, you are going to read this, and this actually takes effect immediately. In future rounds, the events will take place at the very end of the round. So during the very first phase, or very first round of the very first phase, it'll say that during this dice phase, this round, each player who rolls a combined total of 4 or less on their dice gets 1 philosophy token. In future rounds, it will have something that will take effect at the very end of the round. However, this one is a constant through the dice phase, which is going to be coming up soon. So that is phase 1, event, revelation, event announcement. Next phase, we'll just go from here, is the tax phase. So tax phase here, it will just set, you'll just get income based on your taxes. For my player, when we start, I have a development token. So my player, at the start of the game, I have 1 tax on this, so I'm actually at this level. So at this phase, I would collect 1 drachma. In the future, obviously, I can move up this track and collect more, but I do have the starting ability of collecting 1 tax. It is important to note, when you see that symbol, that is the tax symbol, but if it has a circle enclosed like this, that is actually coins, that's drachma. So there is a difference. This one goes up a tree. Here, you're improving on that track, and this one is actually physical coins. Next, let's talk about the next phase, which is the dice phase. For the dice phase, I have my player board center stage here, and the citizen track showing as well, because you might be involved with the citizen track. So you're going to roll the dice that you have. We start with 2 dice. You can unlock your 3rd dice here once you hit a certain spot in your culture. For right now, we roll 2 dice. These dice will indicate the actions I have the ability to select. My actions are here in these tiles. I rolled 2 4s. So without penalty, I can play cards that have a value of 4 and under. So I can play any of these. These are numbered between 0 and 6. And I'm going to go over these actions in the next phase. But right now I'm selecting actions and I'm assigning them to dice. And they're going to go face down. So if I want to do military, I would put it face down, assign that die to it. And if I want to do philosophy, that's fine. I can do that, assign that die to it. I wait for my opponents, and then we move on and reveal these. I will note at this point that if I were to select something that is higher than the die that I have, so I play a 6, that means that I will lose citizens based on the difference. So that's 2 higher, so I will lose 2 citizens on this track, and that is how you pay for the difference between the die roll and the action in which you're taking. Now let's talk about the actions. First, I want to focus on 0, 1, and 2, philosophy, legislation, and culture. Now we are going to be revealing these, and in ascending order, so starting with 0, we are going to go ahead and do these actions. These can be simultaneously until we hit a point at number 4, in which military it might matter. So, first one resolve, if anyone's done philosophy, you're going to collect, all you're going to do is collect one of these philosophy tokens over here. You collect one of these, and that is it. That is your philosophy action. Simple enough. Legislation. You're going to gain 3 citizens. Then you're going to draw the top 2 of the politics cards. Choose one and add to your hand, and put the other at the bottom of the deck. Just because you earn these cards doesn't mean you play them. You'll have to actually do an action called politics to play a card. We'll go over that soon. That is action 5. So that is legislation, increasing citizens by 3, and drawing 2 cards and selecting one from the politics deck. Action 2 is culture. You're going to gain victory points equal to your culture level. In this case, my culture level is 1, so I would only gain 1 victory point. Now let's move on to 3 through 6. Number 3 is called the trade action. Here you can gain 1 coin more than your economy level, right here. And then you may buy one of your tokens for 5 drachma. Now those tokens are not the tokens on the board. These are the same tokens, but you're going to take from the supply with a trade action. You're not going to be taking here. Because the 4th action is military. This is where you'll be taking that explore action to take some of these tokens. This is also the one that is not played simultaneously because it might matter, because you can select things that other people may have wanted. So this you'll do in turn order if you have more than one person that selected the military action. You're going to gain troops equal to your military level, and military level is on your game board as well. Military level, you're going to gain troops, which is right here, equal to that level, and then you may do an explore action. Explore action, it shows the cost of getting one of these tokens. You can go anywhere on this board, assuming that you can pay. The cost would be the troops listed here, and this is how many you will subtract from those troops. So if I wanted this token, it would cost me 4 of my troops. That's assuming I had 4. Let's say I had 6. And then I will lose 2 of those, go down to 4, and I'll take the bonus of whatever that is listed right there. This is the one I did, so it's 2 coins. And that is a military action. Next, we have the politics action, which I spoke of. This is how you play a politics card from your hand. So if I had a hand of cards here, we can go through these really quickly. We have ones that are immediate actions. This is the cost you will have to pay, and this is the prerequisites. I need these knowledge tokens right here, those green ones. I need to have at least 2. I do not spend those, I just have to play them. And since it's immediate action, I read this and I do it immediately. Now this says I can move up this track for free. Normally there's a cost associated with moving up tracks on your player board. The cost on that, really briefly, is what is labeled right in there, in the recess. So this would cost me 2 drachma to move up, but I would get a bonus for that. And obviously my economy improves, so my actions do improve because of it. But the immediate bonus right here is 3 citizens, for instance. But this is saying I can do that for free. I do not have to pay that culture. You notice there's only a 1 here, so perhaps I would like to improve this before I do that action, because I would save 4 coins as opposed to 1. Or wait even longer and improve it 6. So the politics action has 3 different types. I went over the immediate. There's also ones that give you a constant benefit. So I have to have this prerequisite, as always. I have to spend 2 coins, and I can play this to gain 2 troops during the tax phase, which, if you recall, is the second phase of each round. There are other ones here. Let's get out. There's one other one, and I believe that would be the end game. So that must be all right here. Here we go. All these cards right here, reddish orange. These are end game. So the same applies right there. 2 coins. I have to have 1 of each of these tokens. And at the end of the game, I would gain 1 victory point for each major and minor I have. Now, major being the ones that show glory around it, and minors being these. There you go. That is politics action. And the last action you can choose is a development action. That is the highest you can go, is a 6. You will unlock your next development, assuming you have what is required. So it is pretty easy at first, you can see. So if I want to improve my development, it only has that green token. I will have an ongoing ability then. This character, Olympia, she can gain a troop and a philosophy token when they take the culture action. So she would like to use culture. So I'd move up 1 based on that, and I can go all the way up to the top one, which is definitely very powerful. That is the development action. Those are all the actions you are taking during the game. Now let's move on to the next phase. The progress phase is the 5th phase. Here you will go ahead and move up either or any of these 3 dials. When you do, you're going to pay the associated costs. You can only do this once unless you have a card that gives you that ability to do it more than once, but you're always going to have to pay that cost that you move up on. After that, we're going to resolve the event. So at the beginning, we had that growing populations event. That's already been resolved. But in the future, we're going to have events that resolve at this stage. The player, we would have this revelation, remember, that happened at the very beginning, so we knew this for the duration of this round. It is not new information that you're getting forced to play with. The player with the highest troop level gains a philosophy token. Whoever has the lowest loses all of their philosophy tokens, and so forth. There's a stack of these that will change every game. That is the event resolution. The very last phase, you're going to see if you have any of these achievements. Now, these are fairly obvious if you know the symbology: citizens and victory points and troops and economy and cards that you have played out, the politics cards. If you are the only one to achieve it this round, you're going to be able to select what your bonus you want. You can take 1 glory, which is a glory track right here. That might give you benefits. Or the tax. You can move up 1 tax. If 2 people do this or more, do it at the same time, the same round, then you have to do the tax. You have to move up the tax. You have no choice. But everyone will get that as well. So that at this point, you can go ahead and claim if you've accomplished anything. So you've heard me talk about philosophy tokens. What are they used for? Well, you have a handy reference right here at what they're used for. These letters are the phases, and here you actually have all the phases. So you can see in the dice phase, you can spend a philosophy token to gain 33 citizens. In the action phase, you can spend 2 philosophy tokens to give you a temporary 1 of these knowledge tokens. And in the progress phase, you can do an additional progress action by spending a philosophy token, and you can move up any of those 3 on your track. However, you still will have to pay the cost associated. You will encounter various symbology throughout the game for benefits that you get. There is a handy page right there as well that goes over that. But that about covers it. End game. So after 9 rounds, the game is going to end. You go for the final scoring. So you get any victory points from any red victory point cards that were unlocked also in developments. So you also have the developments that give you end game on some characters. So let's see what this one. This one gives you 15, for instance, right there, 15. Some of them give you other things, but you get those. You'll get ones from your cards, the politics cards that are the reddish color, the reddish orange. Victory points equal to the multiplier, essentially, of the glory that you've earned for any of the major tokens that you've earned. And I'll note that there is one special one down here that will require all 15 troops, and all 15 will die. But you will take all of these that will help you so much with your glory. And whoever has the most at that point is the winner. If there's a tie, then it says the person that has the most drachma. And if it's still a tie, you will share the victory. And that's how you play.
All right, thank you so much for going through how you play. We'll just start off, I guess, right off the bat with first impressions. When you open the box, what did you think?
I'm happy about our player boards.
Yeah,
I love the player boards,
I love
recessed player boards, and just you have that cheat sheet. Not a cheat sheet. It's actually on your player board, step by step. Makes the game really smooth to play. Just following through that, it's so nice because the game isn't complex in itself. But right away, so first impressions were positive. I loved the art too, and I loved how there's something so gratifying when you put your character right in that slot that fits so perfect.
Yeah,
just clicks right in. It's like, oh, that's so nice. So my impressions right away were good. What did you think right away?
Yeah, same thing. I liked the look of the game. I enjoyed that, I love reference sheets, so I liked that was built right on the recessed player boards. So same immediate impact on the production of it and the artwork of it. I was happy with. It was fair. I mean, there's not too much on there. There's the player politics cards have some, and the development tiles, or the action tiles. Thank you. Had some as well, and I thought right away that it was good to be able to follow along with it and not be too complicated right away, right off the bat. Everything kind of seemed to make sense to me. I like the theme of it. I don't mind the civilization, historical kind of games where you're trying to build up an empire or a civilization. I liked that. So when I heard we were doing that, I said, oh, this looks fun.
Yeah, it is similar to like a Civ game. It has that theme, but you really don't get it in the gameplay necessarily. It's just the names and the art and all that kind of stuff. You get that Civ feel. But it is really condensed version. Think of lighter than Tapestry. It's a really light Civ game, and it goes quick. So if you want a quick game, this would be a good quick Civ-themed game. So positives, aside from the look of it's great. I like the box art too, by the way. I like the fact, and you can take it or leave it, I think, because I like the fact that it's a quick, snappy game. I mean, as far as you're going to play 9 rounds, and those rounds can be pretty quick, and I think it escalates nicely. The thing about that, because for this game, it's going to be a little weird to review because I have positives and negatives like back to back on each topic. Like, I like how maybe restrictive it might be in some spots, and then how wide open it is in other spots. And it's like, I like it, but it needs to stay on that path. So what I mean by that is it's restrictive in how much money you're getting. You're not getting a lot of money the first half of the game. You're poor, usually, unless you have a card that gave you money or something.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to have that tax. You're not going to have all kinds of stuff. So it feels like, man, it's a slow build, and it's restrictive at the beginning. You can't do your progress because you don't have money. You can't do these different things that require money. Even some politics cards can require like $6. Like,
yeah, I had one for $8, and I thought, how am I going to do that?
And it's not dollars. What do they call those?
Owl.
Owl. It starts with a D.
Ducati?
No. They're close though.
Denali? Ducati?
No.
We'll put in the what it is.
Drachma? No, that was before that, wasn't it? Something like the DR or something. Ducra? Man, I can't come up with it.
Lucrezia?
No, it's not Italian sounding too much like that. Now it's going to bother me. And we're not going to cut this. Nope.
I love looking stupid.
No. Drachmas. I was close. I said Did I say drachmas? I said drach something.
Let's play it back.
All right, well, drachmas. So you do start with 4 drachmas. It's just hard to get that income. It's hard at the beginning, so it's really restrictive feeling. But then it's not restrictive at all when it comes to you doing your actions. You can do whatever you want because you get citizens readily. You can do an action that gives you 3 citizens, the legislative action. The legislative action gives you 3 citizens and lets you get another politics card that you can draft from 2 cards. And right there, that's 3 citizens, and you spend those citizens in order to do actions you want. Maybe you didn't roll well. You can spend those. So it feels like it's not restrictive at all in the actions you pick, but it's very restrictive in the coins you get to do these different actions. So it just feels like a mismatch right there of how restrictive the game might be. So I couldn't just say, oh, that's a positive and that's a negative, because it's kind of like a hodgepodge. I don't know what to make of it. But yeah, what are some of your thoughts? Positives, negatives?
Yeah, so immediately I was positive on the gameplay being quick and snappy for the amount of stuff that you feel like you can do, because you can go different ways in this game. You can choose different paths, which is really neat, because if you build up one track or you've got a card that's going to score you a certain way, right off the bat, you look at your development and you can see your character. Okay, what's probably going to be the best way to maximize this? So it kind of gives you some direction. And then objectives, there's another push. I love a game with objectives. I like to know what exactly I'm doing right off the bat. It kind of helps me steer my game and what do I want to build up? What am I willing to let him get, or not let him get, but what am I not going to stop him from trying to get, or compete with him on. So I thought that was right away really great for me, because I like a game that seems to have a lot to it with a short amount of time that you play, like a set amount of rounds. The only thing is, I do agree with you, starting off with very little money, you can't achieve the things you want to. Some things may be expensive, and then you also have to consider that you need citizens to mitigate some of your dice, and also you have philosophy scrolls that you're able to spend as well, which I love mitigation. When it comes to rolling dice, I love to have a way out of it. I really appreciate a game that can give you ways that it doesn't feel, oh, you're stuck playing the same actions. And I did do, the last game we played, I did a lot of this culture action over and over again with the 2 value action card. And I was able to win, but it didn't seem like much because it was only giving me 2 victory points because of my track not being that high. So it's something, you really have to maybe think about which, are you going to focus on one thing, try to do a lot of different things really well? I don't know. I just thought it was really interesting that way right off the bat.
A lot of your politics cards can dictate what you might focus on too. It depends on your hand of cards. And luckily you're drafting those at the beginning. Both get 5.
Yeah, the draft. That's what I was going to mention. I like the drafting of those.
I like drafting games usually. The arc, I would say, is good, but I'm also going to say it's not good. It's another hodgepodge because it's good. It seems like it's going in the right direction. We're starting to do a lot of stuff and the game ends.
I know.
So now I have the money. Now my tax is going. I got some kind of income that I can do different things, and the game's over.
That's how I felt.
Yeah. So the arc, it was going the right trajectory, and then it just cut a little short. But then you have to decide: do you want the game to be a longer game, or you want it to be that smooth, quick game that you were, raving about? But it just feels like maybe it cuts off 2 rounds early.
That's what I was going to say, 2. I thought maybe 2 more. You don't have to have 3 or more, but 2 more rounds to just really get to play with this engine you've built, or this great resources that you've built up with the tokens. And maybe it would get out of hand with the military attaining those.
Maybe.
You would have just too many, and then the scoring could be thrown off, perhaps, because there are some that score you for those that you have.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm no genius. I've never designed a game, but
I'm sure it's mostly catered for the 9 rounds. It just I don't know. It just feels like it could have gone longer because I was just starting to click. Things are just starting to build up a little bit and ended pretty abruptly.
Yeah, more Khora.
Yeah.
We've only played it at 2.
Yeah.
And this review, unfortunately, cannot capture what a 4-player experience of this would be.
You can imagine, though, it's the same game. There's no difference.
Yeah, no player interaction in this, really.
Only military, that's it. You can take a token before...
And an objective. You could get to an objective first, because if you're not the first person or not claiming it at the same turn, you don't get that objective. So that's something that, you want to hurry up and get that one because it goes so well with your engine or something. It certainly would probably be amplified with 4. But we didn't have a chance to do that, so only 2 for us.
We tried, yeah. We tried, but it's just all 2 players. We played 3 times, I think, now 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And, I would say overall, pretty positive experience. You want to go to scores?
Yeah, I'm going to give my score for this game. I gave it an 8.1. Very strong. I flirted with the idea of under 8 for it, but then I thought, I just like how easy it is to put out on the table. It doesn't have a lot of pieces and setup that you really have to do. You just dump all the tokens out in front of you, and then play, move up your track. I liked it.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I didn't flirt with the going under 8. I actually made out with it. I got a 7.9, so right under the 8. Just because
that's what I thought too.
It's a positive score overall. I just couldn't quite reach the 8. Because it didn't quite click. The cadence was a little bit off. It just restrictive and so unrestrictive. It was like a joke how easy any action I can do. I can roll 1 and still do my 6 action because I have 10
citizens.
Yeah, so easily I get those.
And you can have a philosophy token to get 3 if you want to as well. Like if you had to get citizens, which was
this game. It feels like it would benefit from an expansion. But it wouldn't be easy to come up with a good expansion because to keep the balance of this game, it feels like it could be fragile. But definitely possible. And if it did come out with an expansion, I'd be very interested because I would love to add a little more complexity for my taste, a little bit more to it, a little chunky, and more choices. I have those 0 through 6 actions, 0 through 6, so 7 technically. and maybe a little bit more depth there. I mean, there's one action that I just get the token, and that's it. That's my action, And there's some things about that I don't like. There's one that I just get VP based on where's the culture, where my culture
That's
is.
the one I kept doing. I know, I wasn't thrilled with it. It wasn't exciting. Like, the action was, I was doing it. I ended up winning the game, but that wasn't because of my culture, because I was only moving 2 at a time.
Essentially, the best action to me, the most fun, is simply playing a card.
Yeah, I like that too. But it's hard.
I mean, no, I'm just saying that's the best action. It's like the most fun action. So it's like, you know what? I like the game. It's just like, I feel like it could be better. I can give it a lot higher score if it adds something more for me. But yeah, overall, I would say try it. I'm not going to say buy it. I would say try this one. It might grow on you even more, though. That's the one thing. I feel like it's going to be just a tad each time. Just a tad. Not like, oh, man, this is way better. It's like, you know what? This is good. I like playing these cards. That's the main thing I like. I think the politics cards are what I like. And the development with some characters I like.
Yeah.
And the one I just
and
had,
I
did
that.
not like.
Yeah. I liked my development was really cool, because when I played a card, I got 3 victory points and coins, and yeah, I really enjoyed that. And I think for me, the biggest reason for my score being not 7.9, because that was my first thought, was 7.9. What took it to 8.1 for me was thinking about, and I sat there and I thought, I like civilization games. I like not resource management, but I like economical games, I guess is the word. And for this, being so snappy, that's what really, for me, I liked. Because I don't sometimes want to sit there for hours on end playing a game. I would just like a quick little scaled down version of a huge game. So that was what I liked about
8.0 average.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please click the thumbs up, and subscribe to our channel for more great reviews. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.